Hello, I'll be doing today's video in English and I'll be presenting you some of the books I'd like to read. So there are 5 books here and the 6th one is, I'm just going to put the link because I don't have the book physically here. So let's start. These are the books that I'd like to recommend and let's start with my favorite. So it's called Wind, Sand and Stars, written by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. He is a pilot and he's also the writer of Little Prince. Unfortunately, he passed away a long time ago, but this is his autobiography and it tells about his travels in South America, Europe and Africa. And I recommend this book a lot. If you read Little Prince, the story starts as a pilot crashing into a desert and coming across with Little Prince, and I don't want to give any more spoilers, but he inspired to write that book after his personal experience in crashing into a desert, and it's just a beautifully written book. I have the English copy, but afterwards I also read it in French in the original language, and both the translation and the original were great, so definitely recommend this one. The other one is if you're a little bit into self-development books but want to also get a bit of a business. Art of the Good Life by Rolf Dobelli is a very good book. It gives life advice on business but also personal experience. So for example, in one of the chapters he says you should have a black box for yourself, which really stuck with me. So if you're about to make a big decision in your life or need to move forward with something important, or you're going through a difficult time, he recommends to write it down, and when you have another phase similar to this, you can go back to your notes and read through and see your own black box where you made your decision and what mindset you were in. But he also gives a lot of business advice on how to communicate with people, how to present yourself, so it is a nice book on self-development. Another book I read last year, which was my favorite as well, Barbarian by Finnegan. Finnegan is a New Yorker writer and he publishes articles mostly on political conflict, war issues in Middle East and Africa. But this book is his personal life, so if you are not into fiction but want to read something like fiction, his life story is amazing. The book is about surfing. From a very young age he surfs in Hawaii, coast of California, and then as he gets older he travels to Southeast Asia, Africa and Oceania. So he tells about his travels, but when he describes his stories, you sort of feel like you're standing on a beach and watching him surf as he's going through these experiences. He also has some short articles on the New Yorker, such as Surfing with the Dog, but I really like this book, and it is a surfing book, but it talks about also some of the political issues in the world, and it's definitely a nice one. So another book is Evocative Objects by Turkle. She's a writer in MIT, but she didn't write this book. It's edited. She has done with other academicians, artists, intellectuals, that what objects or items encourage them to think, create and be curious about things. So each chapter is a different person telling about which object helps them to think creatively, and it's a nice book, and it's also a nice collection of different people. So I also would recommend this one. And this one by Beiser, World in a Grain, is about the sand industry in the world. So if you're interested in the environmental issues, this book talks about sand and not just the material itself, but for example, construction, creating artificial islands, how the whole trading of sand goes, because to create beautiful beaches they need to import sand from other coasts. So this book mostly is more academic, but it has a very easy language to read. And he also has a nice podcast I will add as a link. And then the final book is Invention of Nature by Andrea Wulf. The book is about Alexander von Humboldt's life and his travels. So Alexander von Humboldt, as you may know, is a scientist, naturalist, engineer. He wore a lot of different hats. He was definitely a pioneer for his time period, and he was also very generous to share his research with other artists and intellectuals such as Ernest Haeckel, Charles Darwin. The book talks about Alexander von Humboldt's life and his explorations in South America, a bit of the Asia, and it's a great book. So I will also add that link to the video. I hope you will enjoy these books, and also when you go into the index of these books or bibliography, it gives you references to other books you might be interested in reading, because I discovered most of these books by reading other books, and it was a nice reference to connect to other interesting material. And if you read them and have opinions about them, please feel free to comment, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.